Hello everyone, I'm Aarti Kamraj, product marketer of Zoho PageSense. So welcome to today's session where we'll explore infinite ways beyond to what Google Optimize offers and how Zoho PageSense can help you continue your experimentation journey. So this is today's agenda. I'll be discussing the upcoming sunset of Google Optimize along with its constraints and how PageSense can help your ongoing experimentation journey. Additionally, our product expert will provide a live product demo. We'll also be highlighting how PageSense helps optimize users for the transition along with a live Q&A session, the support panel to address your queries. So Google Optimize was one of the most popular tools that offered a free plan, right? Although it had its own limitations, but with just one Google account and some basic knowledge on how experimentation works, you're good to go. So it was a huge budget saver from a financial perspective, and it did pave the way for many first-time users to dip their toes in CRO. They were able to see the impact of online experimentation. Now, with just 53 days for Optimize the Sunset, many of you would be still confused which product to choose. Is it about the budget or whether the compatibilities and functionalities match your criteria? But honestly speaking, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to understand your needs, to find what was limiting you with Google Optimize, and understand what is important for you going forward. So, as I mentioned earlier, Google Optimize has its own limitations. Like it was mandatory for you to install a Chrome extension to make any edits to your variations. It could be much more convenient if you could just do it directly from the Optimize interface, right? And with only with that extension, you can make more complex edits to your variations. That is, if you want to add or remove any elements from your pages or even change the CSS styling, you need the Chrome extension. And number two is that you cannot upload the images to the Optimize editor, which means that you cannot A/B test creatives. And this is because Optimize is a free service and it doesn't have the capacity to store large amounts of data. There's also one complicated way to overcome this. So if you really want to A/B test creatives, you'll need to use third-party application or upload the images to your website CMS and then link them to your A/B test. Number three, it's mandatory for you to link your Google Optimize account to your GA4 account to view analytics and create goals. And if you have a different analytics account other than Google, it can get really messy. This is because Google Optimize is designed to work with Google Analytics and it does not have the native integration with other analytics platform. So even if you somehow manage to integrate with any other third-party analytics platform, the data from these two platforms may not be perfectly aligned. Number five, limited preset segments. So Google Optimize has currently 10 preset segments, while PageSense has over 50, which means with PageSense you have more flexibility when it comes to targeting your experiments. And in PageSense, you can target experiments based on various factors such as visitor's location, device, or a referring website. A targeted experiment can lead to better results, right? And you're also limited to targeting experiments based on the default segments that are available in Google Optimize. And these segments are not as granular as Google Analytics segments, and they may not be relevant to your specific goals, which is super important when you're running an A/B test. Number seven, your visitor's IP address, browser type, and screen resolution are the only three parameters to your personalization experiments in Google Optimize. So it doesn't allow you to, you cannot personalize content based on visitor's location, device, or a referring website, unlike PageSense. You need to have more flexibility when it comes to personalization, and that's something Optimize does not have. Number eight is that it lacks other important CRO tools. I mean, that there are a lot more tools in the CRO world than just A/B testing, right? So if you're really serious about CRO, then maybe you would want to consider using a platform that offers a wider range of CRO tools. So with that, I'll start to why Google Optimize users are transitioning to Zoho PageSense. So Zoho PageSense is the only CRO product out there that offers 10 plus CRO tools, including heat map, session recording, polls, form, analytics, goals, and funnels. It's also loaded with powerful integrations, including Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, and Zoho CRM. So also PageSense is flicker free, which means when you run an A/B test or any other CRO experiment, your website visitors will not see any flickering other than or any other visual artifacts. And this is really important to ensure that the experiment results are accurate. Number four, PageSense is super easy to use, even for businesses that do not have a lot of experience in CRO. So this platform comes with a user-friendly interface and has an inbuilt drag and drop build editor, which makes it easier for you to create variations for A/B tests and personalization experiments. And it's also competitively priced when compared to other CRO platforms existing in the market. So what is Zoho PageSense? What can you do with Zoho PageSense? So with PageSense, you can analyze user behavior on your website using heat maps, session recordings, and other tools. So this can help you identify the areas of your website that are not performing up to par. You can identify potential barriers to conversion on your website and make changes to the website to improve the user experience and increase conversions. You can also run A/B tests to compare two different versions of a page or a landing page and choose the page version that drives conversion. We also have a personalization module that allows you to create tailored experiences for users on your website. We have an entire module for engagement that includes polls, push, and pop ups to increase website engagement and provide you with valuable insights. So let's start with the tool that you're most familiar with, A B testing. Within PageSense, we offer an inbuilt visual editor that enables you to create multiple variations of web pages. And this editor comes with a wide set of design tools catering to both basic and advanced changes. Also, you have the option to utilize the HTML editor for more advanced edits to your page code. You can add your own custom code to your page and preview your changes on different devices. And after that, you start by setting up conversion goals to track. This helps to analyze and compare the performance of web pages. And when it comes to A/B testing, PageSense offers 7 types of goals. You can track the element clicks, link clicks, time spent on the web page views, engagement, or even track revenue generated per visitor for each variation. And if none of these fit your criteria, you can always create your own custom goal where you can track visitor when a visitor completes a specific action or a set of event. So once you set the goal, you can use a slider to set the percentage of audience that you would like to participate in the A/B test experiment. And when it comes to targeting, you can choose based on behavior, traffic, location, device, and any other parameters in the target audience section. And if none of these parameters fit your criteria, you can always use the custom audience option. So we offer 2 types of statistical method to run A/B test: Bayesian and frequentist method. Also, the report tabs in A/B testing is extremely detailed. You can view the summary of your reports along with the statistical analysis to determine the significance of your A/B test results. As I mentioned earlier, every A/B test is run based on goals, right? So we have a leaderboard section that shows you a list of all the goals attached to your experiment along with the respective metrics. You can also filter and segment your reports using a predefined segments that includes country, source, device, OS, and more. We also have advanced segments where you can filter audience based on what you define. So the conversion forecast in A/B testing is a functionality that gives you the probable conversion rate that each variation will achieve even before a test is complete. And we have more. We have cross-domain tracking that gives you a comprehensive view of your visitors navigating across different domains. For example, if a visitor comes to your website and casually browses through other pages on your website, even if it's from a different domain, without this particular feature, without cross-domain tracking, it will be counted as 2 different sessions instead of a single session. And this leads to incorrect visitor tracking data, which may affect the metrics. And we have advanced URL targeting. So this feature can be used to target and show your variations to a specific group of pages on your website with different URL match types. So you can also include or exclude a segment of web pages for A/B test experiment. For example, let's say you want to run a promotional offer on a specific product page, such as a kids wear on your e-commerce site. You can choose the exact URL as a match type to show the variation page with an attractive promotional banner targeted to the audience on this set of pages. Variation specific heat map. So you can enable heat maps to view visitor engagement across different sections of your variation and original pages. We have a Chrome extension that allows you to create heat map and A/B testing experiments right within your browser to track visitors in every web page. So you can load and view reports of heat map, scroll map, attention map within an experiment page and view detailed metrics such as the number of visitors, clicks, and conversions right within your browser. So moving on to heat maps. Uh, Heat maps in PageSense. So PageSense offers heat maps to track clicks and mouse movements. Scroll map to understand the scrolling pattern. Attention map to understand the sections which customers are most engaged with. You can track their interactions with static and dynamic elements like the pop-up menus, slider carousels, and drop-downs. Unlike regular heat maps that track elements on a single page, PageSense offers consolidated heat maps that give you a character report for elements such as a header or a footer that are consistent across multiple pages. Moving on to funnel analytics. So this particular CRO tool in PageSense, with this tool you can track multiple pages as one funnel and find the pages of funnels with the highest drop-offs. This can be useful for tracking the performance of a multi-step process, such as a checkout process. You can view when the drop-off is at its peak and when it is at its lowest. You can even track events that happen on your website. You can even track events that happen on your website. So this way, you can monitor pages with high bounce rates and use PageSense tools to get deeper insights to fix the bottlenecks. Moving on to the most interesting feature, session recording. So with PageSense session recording, you can record every visitor interaction with your website to understand how visitors interact and identify and then later identify any potential problems that is a barrier for conversions. So you can record clicks, scrolls, and mouse movements. You can view how different groups of visitors interact with the website. You can also monitor the user journey, which includes pages they explore on the website. And all the interactions are consolidated and present as a unified recording linked to a single username, so thereby simplifying the process for you to review. You also have the option to filter recordings based on goals achieved with the visitors. You can use a smart and advanced filters to narrow down to a particular visitor behavior without having to go through thousands of recordings. You can also incorporate the custom identify API option to view recordings based on a specific criteria, such as email address. This comes in handy if you want to target visitors with the personalized shopping offers or discount coupons. And by default, your visitor sensitive information will be automatically masked on a recording screen in Zoho PageSense. You can also mask additional elements or interactions if needed to protect the visitor's privacy. Moving on to form analytics. So with form analytics, Zoho PageSense helps you identify which fields visitors are most hesitant to fill in, the total time taken to click on the submit button, and the number of interactions, form interactions, and so much more. So you can view both form and field level metrics. For example, in form metrics, you can get the metrics on the number of form interactions, submissions, and abandonments by your website visitors. And under field metrics, you can view metrics on interactions, hesitations based on the average time spent on each field, the number of drop-offs after interacting with a specific field, and much more. And you can also filter the form analytics reports to view the form submission behavior of a specific audience. For example, you can see how a visitor from a specific ad campaign interacts with the form on your website. So moving on to website personalization. So with this CRO tool, you can tailor your website experiences for every audience segment. So we have a visual editor that allows you to change the content, layout, and style of the web pages. You can create as many as experiences you want. You can also set specific goals such as a session duration or CTA clicks to track the performance of your personalized web page. You can also personalize your website based on a variety of factors, including behavior, location, weather, device use, visit frequency, ad campaign, and later compare the experiences to see which one performs the best. As I mentioned earlier, you also had the option here to enable heat maps to see how visitors interact on your personalized variations and view insights on visitor engagement. Moving on to the engagement module. So under engagement module, we have polls, push notification, and pop-ups. So in PageSense, we offer a library of professionally designed templates for push notification for all these three CRO tools. And these templates are specifically tailored for different purposes, such as promoting discounts, announcing new products, gathering feedback, or even capturing email signups. You can modify the layout, font, color, add video, images, and customize the templates any way you want to suit your brand image or messaging, which is crucial for promoting a seamless and optimized user experience, regardless of the device your visitors use. So in Patience, you can preview and test your notifications, uh, polls or pop-ups before even launching them live on your website. You can also see how they appear on different devices, ensure that they function as intended. You can trigger notification at the right time to maximize the impact. For instance, you can trigger a pop-up with a compelling discount right when a user is on the add to cart page. This can encourage them to finalize the purchase, right? So yeah, we have Ajit, our product expert, who will be walking you through the product. Over to you, Ajit.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to welcome you all to Zoho PageSense demo today. So I'm going to walk you through about the product and also a quick understanding of what the product has and what's it going to be for your business and how is it going to benefit your business with regards to conversion rate optimization process. And also I'm going to run through every individual module and features of Zoho PageSense and go through the reports and show what all features we got and how is it going to work together and enrich visitor experience on your website. So on that note, I'm just going to quickly start sharing my screen and take it to the product directly. So I hope you all should see my screen now. So yes, again, welcome you all to Zoho PageSense demo. So this is how the application would look like. And as soon as you log in with Zoho PageSense application, you will be created with your own dedicated MySpace, which is nothing but a portal where you can have all your projects and experiments managed within it, right? So this is the unique email address that for which I used to create a particular PageSense account. And inside this MySpace, you get access to create different projects. So projects here refer to the different set of domains that you would like to connect with PageSense. Let's say you have website A and website B and other websites for different businesses, or you wanted to manage your clients' portals, clients' businesses with this particular PageSense account. You can create different project for every individual different domains. By that, every website will be tracked independently and distinctively. That will let you analyze and understand what's actually going on with your website with respect to performance as well as visitor experience. So inside the project, you have all the modules and features listed, and you can perform experiments to figure out and understand what's actually going on with your website and what needs to be fixed and how do we optimize it better so that we generate more conversions and revenue out of them. So before we get into this, here's a quick glimpse of the test site that I've created for this demo purpose. So the objective here is going to be a transactional conversion. This is basically an e-commerce store where they sell headphones and the end goal is to make a purchase. So I'm going to use this site for the demo purpose today. Before we get into this, I'm going to cover the different modules towards the left side. We have website analytics, track, analyze, optimize, personalize, and engage. So these are 6 different modules which are going to work together and understand, help us understand what's actually going on with your website. And also, it all going to go hand in hand to enhance your visitor experience as well as optimize your conversion rate, which in turn is going to boost your sales as well. So that's pretty much on what all modules we got over here. So the first things first, we'll have connect your website with Zoho PageSense. So how do we connect it? Using this particular snippet section over here. So when you click that, we have a couple of options, which is synchronous and asynchronous. So in the synchronous snippet, you get a JavaScript, both asynchronous and synchronous. You get a JavaScript where synchronous snippet gets executed in series, whereas asynchronous gets executed in parallel with your website code. So let's say if you are going for A/B test and heat map or session recording and so on, you can go with the synchronous snippet itself and asynchronous snippet as well. But if you're specifically looking at running A/B test and split URL test experiments, we would prefer you to go with synchronous snippet itself. The reason being, with the A/B test and split URL test along with asynchronous snippet, you might encounter a flickering effect over there. So to avoid such limitations, maybe we can go with the synchronous snippet and start tracking your account. The website with the PageSense account. So now, once you add the snippet, we'll be able to track end-to-end activities of a visitor by just placing a cookie onto the browsers. So we track the source of a visitor, from which source they're coming in, where they land, where they click, where they navigate, how far they spend a time, and how far they scroll, and what is their bounce rate, exit rate, and all the engagements pertaining to a particular visitor will be tracked based on the cookie ID. And yes, with Zoho PageSense, we track everyone anonymously. And the next tab is about the users, where you'll be able to add multiple users from your same organization or different entities, where you can collaborate with each other and get your work done for marketing and conversion rate optimization process. So all you have to do is just click invite user and add the email address and assign the role that you would like to share with them. And click invite. They would receive an email and they can accept the email and be part of your projects that you create. And then we have integrations. So we support few direct integrations with third-party applications, as well as one of Zoho Pay in-house application too. So we have Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics, Kissmetrics, Mixpanel, Google Ads, Intercom, and Zoho Sales IQ. So every individual integrations has its own purpose. So for example, if you'd like to enable this particular integration, you can just toggle this button and it will take you to the process. And what are the process that you'll have to take through is something that's available in the help document inside the learn more button. So you'll have a screenshots based step-by-step process where that will guide you in terms of how do you go about integrating this particular application with Zoho PageSense. And the purpose is something that is listed in the one liner right below the particular application itself. So with Google Tag Manager, you'll be able to add the PageSense code directly to your website instead of adding it using Google Tag Manager, instead of adding it to the head tag section using the synchronous and asynchronous snippet. And then with three of these, where Google Analytics, Metrics, and Mixpanel will let you track the A/B test and split URL test experiments from PageSense, and that will be pushed to these three platforms if integrated, and we'll be able to track activities over there for further analysis. Then we have Google Ads. So with this Google Ads, we'll be able to fetch the information from Google Ads in terms of what are the campaigns that we are running and what is the cost incurred in that, and pivoting that to the conversions and the goals that we configure with PageSense, and understand how they are performing with respect to every individual Google Ads experiments that we create. And the last couple of things are Intercom and Sales IQ. So these two are chat supporting platforms where we'll be able to engaging with our customers or prospects with all their queries and whatnot. So by doing that, we'll be able to integrating with PageSense, we'll be able to send out goals and session recording of a particular visitor even before they interact with that particular prospects or customer directly. So it's just giving a heads up in terms of what actions they have performed and what they're looking at and what could be their possible issues. And moving to the next part, which is experiment settings. This is specifically for the A/B test and split URL test experiments. And what we try to do here is we have a particular feature called mutually exclusive groups. And what it does is basically it creates individual groups for all your experiments that you run. So for a quick instance, let me go up to the website and show you what are we going to use this and how are we going to use this. So with this A/B test, let's assume that there are a couple of different hypotheses. Hypothesis one states that if I change this content over here, I expect a lot of visitors to engage with this particular button and move forward. And hypothesis two in the same page that says that if I change the background image, I expect visitors to click on this particular banner and then proceed further in terms of conversion. So here we have a couple of different hypotheses needs to be tested for the same audience on the same page at the same time. So technically that is not right approach in terms of getting the experiments done. So using that's not actually possible as well, but using this mutually exclusive group, we'll be able to create distinctive groups of visitors who can be just part of one experiment but not the other. And that way we'll be able to just have the visitors split between these two and get track the metrics in terms of how they are performing with individual experiments that we run. So that way, we'll be able to understand whether they are, impacting the experiment positively or negatively. Either way, we take learnings and proceed further. So you have option to just select the experiments from the A/B test and spiritual test run, and then we can allocate the traffic and save. So by doing that, it will create exclusive groups within the same target page. And the next part is about project settings. So in the project settings, we have project.js, which is a JavaScript where you'll be able to add customized codes for your website. So let's assume that you have a particular website where you wanted to showcase a temporary information. Let's say, for example, you wanted to talk about a Black Friday sale, or you wanted to talk about a clearance sale or any new product arrival and whatnot. So all of that is going to be a temporary information that you'd like to communicate with your audience. So instead of you going ahead and changing your parent code, you can just go with this particular option, which is called Project JS, and have your particular you know information coded there. And once the work is done, you can just delete them. So that way it'll be easy for you to just use and scrap it once the work is done. And then we have IP filter, where you'll be able to exclude specific IP address from your tracking from Zoho PageSense. And this is used when you have your internal employees or known traffic or anyone that you don't want to track with PageSense. That way you'll be able to just eliminate or exclude them from Zoho PageSense tracking by just adding their IP address. And then comes page group, where as per the name, it's about clubbing different pages together and call it a particular page group. So you can just add multiple URLs together and name it as a particular group. And this can be used inside all of the experiments in the experiments tab. So basically, it helps you to save more time, provided you have multiple URLs to add every now and then when you create an experiment. Instead of doing that, you can just pick up a particular page group that you have. And then we have a cross-domain tracking feature. This is interesting feature because it lets you track visitors moving from one domain to the other. So technically, when you have your particular snippet added to same snippet added to both of the different domains of same business or different businesses, you can just track the visitors moving from one domain to the other end to end by enabling this toggle button. So that way, a continuous visitor journey will be tracked using Zoho PageSense, and that gives you more transparency and understanding of the visitor behavior in and out. Then comes a privacy banner. So this is to let our visitors know that we track them based on their cookies that we place onto the browser. And then we have three options with that. One is do not notify visitors. This is used when you already run a particular consent banner on your end, and it's not mandatory for you to run again using Zoho PageSense, because that's going to create anxiety among the users, thinking how many tracking are running behind this particular web page. And then we have notify visitors but don't allow to opt out. So with this case, we'll be able to just get the consent and let them click the accept CTA that we have and proceed further. Whereas with the third one, they can just accept or deny, so that if they deny, will not be able to track their activities with Zoho PageSense at all. And then we have web push notification. This is to increase the subscribers for your push notification messages that we're going to send. So we have three types with that. One is one-step opt-in, and then we have two-step and a custom opt-in. So with this one-step opt-in, we'll be able to just allow visitors to subscribe to the notifications with just one single click. And we have options like when to showcase this. We have once visitor lands on your website, and after spending good amount of time, that time can be defined by us. So this is how the preview is going to be. And then we have this one-liner which needs to be copied and pasted to the service worker.js under the root directory of your website. Once you do that, we'll be able to enable this pop-up on your browser. Whereas with the two-step opt-in, we'll be able to show a custom message when we are asking for visitors to subscribe for your push notifications. The reason being, we'll get more genuine subscribers if we let them know what kind of push messages or what kind of notifications we're going to send out to them from our business. That way, instead of just spamming them, they'll be more interested to receive updates from our end, and we get more genuine subscribers as well. And the customizations can be done over here. And then we have a custom opt-in. This is to specifically trigger on specific web pages and upon certain actions by the visitors. And you can have it on specific target pages too. So that can happen with the web push notification. In terms of how do we run a push message is something that I'll explain it to the end, where we have it in the engage module of experiment section. Then we have a project info. So we have a space name, project key, which is unique. And then we have a data center, which is IN. Also, we are 100% GDPR and HIPAA compliant too. And all your health related information will be securely stored and accessed, and abiding to all HIPAA law and regulations. And we have options to enable the compliance support and restrict export of personal data as well. So that makes our data more secure and privacy retained. So next thing that I'm move forward is about the experiments. So this is web analytics for you. We have acquisition and behavior feature. Under the acquisition, we'll be able to see how the visitors are coming to your website through which source, and then how they perform with the different metrics dimensions that we have. So we're going to pivot that into a table and see how it's going to work, how it's performing and whatnot. So now going to the table directly, so we have channel as a primary dimension, and these are the few metrics: sessions, visitors, new visitors, bounce rate, pages per session, average session duration, and the goals. So all of that is available over here, and then we have few other primary dimensions for you to look at. So with these metrics, we'll be able to figure out how this is performing for us from a specific channel. And these goals are something that we create inside the track module. So all the 6 different goals will be listed down here. You can just pick and see how is it going to work for every individual goals that you got. And we also have a timeline that talks about how the visitors were generated over a period of time. And we have a date slicer where you can pick up the specific duration or end-to-end dates, or you can even compare this range by picking up I mean, when I say compare, you'll be able to see data from a specific custom range as well. Then we have a segment audience feature where you will be able to create a particular segment using the advanced option. Like, let's say if you want to look at visitors coming from, I mean, visitor type is new, and then if they are coming from a specific device which is desktop, I can just specifically filter them, or save the segment for future uses as well. I can specifically segment them and see how they are performing. That's possible with this. And with the smart option, you'll be able to view the predefined filters. So you can just pick and drop your particular segment that you'd like to see. So for example, if I have to see only India, I can just click apply and see the data pertaining to only India. So that way I'll be able to more easily segment my audience and see how they perform. And then we have option to export this in the form of CSV and proceed further and for further analysis. And then we have refresh button to show you the updated numbers. That's acquisition for you. And then we have behavior. So under the behavior, you talk about individual pages performances, including page views, unique page views, average time on a page, entrances, bounce rate, and exit rate. So that's all available in terms of understanding a particular web page. And also here we have the same set of information. So this segment audience is something that's available across all the features of Zoho PageSense for you to drill down to a particular segment and understand how they perform. And then we have a track module. Under the track, we have goals and funnel analysis. So with this track, we'll be able to measure the engagements on the website and see how they perform. So we have 4 different types of goal. We have element click, link click, time spent, and a custom event. With the element click, I can track the number of visitors engaging on a particular element that's available on the website. So I'm just going to copy this URL where I'd like to track this particular goal, and let me just put it as test. And then going forward, adding this particular URL, I can add multiple URLs also. And also I can pick up the page types like exact match, simple match, UX pattern, rejects match, pattern match, contain, starts with, ends with, and the page group. So this is the page group that I was talking about. You can pick up a page group here and all the pages associated within that particular group will be listed down. So for now, I'm just going to go with this URL match and click next. So I'm just going to delete this and proceed further. So now when I load this entire page inside this element selector window, I'll be able to pick up the element that I wanted. So you see here, the element is not picked yet. So when I click this, the element is automatically picked. And any engagement after this experiment is live, any engagement that's happening on your website will be able to track it down using this particular goals feature. And the second one is link click. This is to track the visitors moving from one URL to the other, right? So let's assume that this is the other URL that I wanted to track. So basically this is home page. And if I want to track the visitors moving to the store locator page, I'll be able to do that by just copying the URL there. And this is how the summary looks like. Once it makes sense, you can just take it live and see how the tracking is going to happen. Then comes the time spent goal. So in this case, again, you'll have to set up a particular threshold saying if a visitor spends 30 seconds of time, that's considered to be a goal. And then all of those visitors will be falling under the converted metric. So that's with the time spent on the page. Whereas the custom event, any specific event that you'd like to track on your web page, which is not possible to track using the remaining 3 different goals, you can basically create your own custom event. So you'll have to just type AK, I'm just going to type this AK test, right? So I create this event and you can copy this particular custom event, the code, and paste it to the post success function of your, particular element or any action or event that happens. So once that's added, we'll be able to execute this particular JavaScript code as well and send information to PageSense that the conversion has happened. So that way we'll be able to just take this data and populate it with PageSense, and we'll be able to understand that the conversion has happened. So I'm going to show you a quick example with regards to the report part of it, like how it's going to look like. So this is the total visitors, conversions, conversion rate, and average conversion time. And then we have a goal metric over a period of time, performance by time, like shows all the days in a week, and then hour of the day as well. And then we have a differentiation between the source types and visitor type breakdown. And then we have top web pages, whatever pages that the goal is configured for. We'll see the list of pages along with visitors and conversion metrics for them. And then we have performance by device and top countries. So these are a few information that would help us to understand how the goal is actually performed. And the next thing is ad spend tab. So with this ad spend tab, we'll be able to integrate with Google Ads and list down the information about the campaign name and cost incurred and how those visitors coming in from specific campaign and whether they are converting this goal specific to about us page time spend goal or not. So that can be seen over this ad spend section. And then we have a funnel analysis. So funnel analysis is pretty simple to configure. So just to highlight Zoho PageSense, anything that you see here is pretty easy to configure without any developer's effort or any technical person's effort. So we'll be able to do it all by ourselves unless until you have highly customized requirement or needs more of a developer touch, then you'll have to reach out to your developer. Else, all of that is completely customizable and used by anyone in a company or business or anyone to just get your experiments done. So in this case, I'm going to go with a particular name and then I'm going to enter the steps. So the step one is going to be the home page, right? And step two, let's say it's going to be product page. So I'm going to say product here just for our understanding, and I can add more steps as well. So I can again use these page types to get the configuration done. As soon as I click activate, it will track the visitors coming to home page and then moving to the product page. So this is a quick example that I can show you. Okay, so I'll use this. Yeah, this. So what happens here is that we see total visitors of 682, three conversions, which is basically towards the end step. And then what is the conversion rate and average completion time? So what do we understand here is that we have a lot of visitors at the home page with 682, and out of which only 186 have moved forward. And from product page, we have 113, and from there we have only 18 moved forward. So on the whole, what I understand is we see huge drop off happening from home page to category, and then product to cart, and then check out the thank you page, which means there are three different concerning areas which needs to be looked at. So I see a huge drop off of 72% in the first place. So we need to figure out why this particular thing is happening. For that, I can run a complete analysis through analyze module of Zoho PageSense using heat map, form analytics, and session recording and see what's actually going on there. So you can also share this report in the password protected link by setting up a password and setting up the expiry date as well. Once that's done, the link cannot be accessed by anyone else, that you have shared with. So the next thing is the analyze module where we have heat map, form analytics, and session recording. With the heat map, it's pretty simple. Again, you just have to enter the test name and the experiment URL where you wanted to run this heat map for and pick the number of visitors that you'd like to track depending on your goals and requirements. So now this is how the report is going to look like, right? So you have all the pages that you wanted to track. And when you click a specific URL, you'll see the results pertaining to that. So we have basically three different types of report. One is heat map, which is based on clicks, and scroll map, which is based on how far the visitor has scrolled on a particular web page. And then we have attention map. I'm sorry. So this is the scroll map that I was showing you, right? So it shows how many percentage of visits has happened and so on. And then with attention map, it talks about how many seconds in an average a visitor spends in a particular fold of your web page. So that can be seen over here. And we also have option to see it across different devices. And then you have a date slicer followed by consolidated heat map. This is to understand as a whole how many users have clicked on this particular element across different sections of your website. And then we have page stats, which talks about the total visitors, how many have visited, number of visits, engaged visitors, clicks and clicks per visit. And then we have top engaged elements, all the elements that you see over here. What are the number of clicks that is listed in the descending order for a quick inferences. You can also adjust the intensity of the color coded information graphs that we have for our better understanding. And yeah, the next part that I'd like to show you is about the form analytics. So form analytics is pretty interesting feature with Zoho PageSense. We'll be able to connect your form with Zoho PageSense and see how the form is performing as well as how the form fields are performing. So I'm just gonna go for this particular URL which I have. So in this case, if you see, this is the homepage of the entire website, and then we have a form associated with it, which is basically embedded to the particular web page. So when I just enter the URL and click fetch forms, if it's embedded, I'll be able to fetch the form automatically. If not, I'll have to go for adding the form manually with the help of form name or form ID. And then I'll have to enter the confirmation page criteria, which is nothing but on submitting this particular form, it would redirect me to a different page, or there is going to be some event that's going to happen behind this particular button. So to track that, I can just add the page or any other custom event that needs to be tracked over here to conclude that the form has submitted successfully. So now once that is set, we'll be able to see the report in this format. So now the entire duration. So we have total visitors, how many visits they perform, how many have started, how many have converted, and how many have abandoned it. So started basically who have started to fill the form, and abandoned left it halfway. And then we have form metrics over a time. So we have a time chart, a graph that talks about three different metrics again: total form submissions, and then average time to submit, and average time spent in total. So this is on a high level form metric. Now talking about field metrics, which is unique to all the fields that we got. If you see here, these are four different fields in a particular form, and all those four fields are listed down here. So we track them based on focus, interactions, refocus, corrections, and drop-offs. So this way we'll be able to understand how individual fields are performing in a particular form, and that will help us to understand whether the fields are working fine or needs optimization to ensure the visitors are highly motivated to go ahead and fill up a form, which generates the leads for our business. So that can be seen. Followed to that, we have filled versus blank fields: how many have filled it and how many have left it blank. And then we have hesitation versus total time. Hesitation time is the time the visitor has spent before inputting any sort of information in the field. So that duration is called hesitation. So that could be more when the visitors are not comfortable enough to share the information with the form that we got. So it's all going to give us a clear understanding on whether your form is doing good or not, or it has rooms for improvement to get your lead generation to a greater extent. Then comes session recording. So this is also one of the highly used feature where you'll be able to create a session recording for a specific group of target pages or for the entire domain as you like. So once you set this up, you can set the number of recordings that you'd like to see, and then goes for the audience. If you have any specific target audience in mind, we have preset segments based on source of traffic, and then device and the visitor type. If not, you can also create your own custom audience with these options using and NOR logic. And then comes privacy. So with this session recording, by default, any input information that a visitor keys in, that will be automatically masked within the PageSense application's recording, considering the GDPR compliant. And you can also mask other information manually by picking up a particular element. Let's say you don't want to showcase this brand name, and that needs to be masked completely. By doing this, that will be completely masked inside the recording. And then we have advanced option where you'll be able to mask all the inputs and then hide the URL query parameters. So few URLs might have query parameters that helps to track the source or history of that particular visitor coming from. So that way we can hide those query parameters concerning the privacy issues over there. And once this is fine, we can take this live. So the report or the recording would look like this. So you get to see the overall recordings that we got, how many second duration goals they have achieved, unique pages, device, operating system, and other aspects of it. And this is how it's going to look like. So if you see here, these are random names that were generated by the system for our quick understanding, because we track everyone anonymously. But at the same time, using the identifier API, we'll be able to fetch the information of a particular user and replace it with their name over here like this. So instead of random names like perfect pheasant, lovely ape, and so on, we'll be able to replace it with the contact name and email address for better understanding. So I'm just going to go with one quick example. This is a particular session which is 1 hour, 12 minutes long. So you'll be able to see all the pages that visitor has gone through and in whatever direction it is. And then we have all the engagements and clicks that were happening. And the trophies are the ones where the goal that you have configured in the goal section is achieved. You can also add tags over here for your understanding, you can mention anything, test tag, for example, and that will be added over here. And also we have other information pertaining to this particular user that we have seen. And yeah, that's pretty much on what session recording is for you. And with the segment audience, you'll be able to see a more predefined filters that's available for you, like based on goals, number of unique pages, pages visited, entry and exit pages, time spent, and so on. So this is something that you cannot see in other features of Zoho PageSense. And same way, we have it in the advanced section for you to configure it on your own, depending on your needs. That's all pretty much that we see with the session recording too. So far, whatever we have seen, it's all completely about information givers from the web analytics, track and analyze. So using those information, we just have to digest them and create a particular hypothesis. And those hypotheses again can be tested using optimized module of Zoho PageSense using A/B test and split URL test. So now let me show you how this is actually done. So I'm just going to quickly show you the setup that I got. So this is a particular experiment URL that I would like to create A/B test for. It opens up the editor window where I can just go ahead and edit any text that I wanted, right? So there are no particular restrictions that you got. So if you want to hide an element, you can hide, you can show them back, you can make them show, right? And then if you wanted to remove it, you can also remove that particular component completely. Using the style editor, you can change the background color and the CTA, other design aspects of it. And then we have options to insert the background image, move it to left and right, and then we have options to add more variations. And all the changes that we just did, it's all going to happen over the JS over here. You can also add your own customized code depending on your needs using JS and CSS over here. And also we have option to check compatibilities with different devices, and then a global code where you can enter a particular code using JS and CSS over here, and that will be reflected in all the variants that you got. Once you make the necessary changes, you can push it to interact mode and see whether it makes or breaks your particular changes that you have introduced to the web page. And once it's all good, you can just quickly save it and go for the goal section. So inside the goal, we have primary goals and secondary goals, which is nothing but micro and macro conversion tracking. So here we have the same element click, link click, page views, revenue, time spent, engagements, and custom event. So these three are already seen, like element click, link click, time spent, and custom event were already seen. So with the page views, you set up a URL and see how many page views are going to happen over there, and that way you'll be able to track it. Whereas with the revenue, you'll have to copy this particular snippet and add it to your web experiment page where you want to track the revenue, and this should be in decimals. Let's say you're talking about $1, you'll have to put it in cent value. If you're talking in rupees, then you'll have to put it in paise value. So then we have engagements, which tracks all the clicks over the element and link over there. That is configured, and you can add more goals. As I mentioned, you can have it for secondary goals over there. So yeah, that is how you go ahead and create a particular goals. And then picking up the audience, like out of 100% of visitors coming to your website, how many of them have to see your experiment and be part of it? So let's assume that you are giving 70% here, which means only 70% of your entire audience is going to be part of your experiment, and remaining 30% is going to be into global control group. That means they will not be part of your experiment at all. And then again, you can go ahead and select your particular target audience. If not, you have your custom audience over here. And then comes configuration. Out of 70%, how many of them have to be in split between the original and the variation group? So that can be configured over here. So you have a slider for this, same like the previous section in terms of picking up the audience. You can select this particular one, and then we have experiment method selection where we have Bayesian and a frequentist method. So with the Bayesian, we'll be able to track the results based on the previous experiences that the experiments got. Whereas with the frequentist method, it takes the knowledge from the current running experiment, and that will help you to figure out arrive at results which is more statistically significant. So we have this trend which is based on quick trends, optimal, and high accuracy. So this is all based on statistical significance levels. So statistical significance is nothing but the outcome that we get out of your experiment is completely based on your changes that you have introduced to the experiment or the variation, but not because of any other random chances or trials. So that's seen over here. With the quick trend, it's going to be significance level more than 90. For optimal, it's more than 95, and high accuracy with is more than 99%. And this is used when you have when you're directly dealing with the revenue part of your experiments. Then comes experiment activation mode. At what point you want to showcase or run this experiment or activate this experiment. Activate when the page loads, activate manually, which means this has to be copied to a particular section or event that happens. And then we have activate on a satisfying condition. So this is getting triggered upon satisfying a particular condition that you set up. Then we have enabling the heat map. This lets you enable the heat map for all the variants, which means yes, you can track all the engagements, clicks, scrolls, and attention map for all the variant pages that you got. And then you can also schedule the experiment. So let's say, for example, you want to run this for only 3 weeks. You can set the start and end date over here. System will automatically take care of launch and pause or stop of this experiment by itself. And then we have integrations. As I mentioned, Google Analytics, Kissmetrics, and Mixpanel will be able to just integrate with them by pushing the data from Zoho PageSense to those platforms for further analysis. Once you are all set, you can just quickly check your configuration that we have made and launch it in a QA mode and see how it looks like with all your experiments and other information that you have keyed in. So once that's there, it will be more easy for you to understand the performance of it. And yeah, once that's true and it meets your expectation, you can launch it. As soon as you launch it, this is how the report is going to be. So we have total visitors, variance, goal, start date, and leaderboard. This talks about a goal. This is a primary goal with the start. So we see how many conversions were happening to the original and the variation, which is winning. So we also give you, PageSense gives you an opportunity to understand whether the experiment is good enough to conclude or it needs more time for you to run this and take a conclusion. And the next one is detailed analysis. When compared to the baseline, which is original, it talks about the improvement that it has incurred and then what is the significance level for the same. So next thing is heat map, where you'll be able to see, as I mentioned, for different variations, heat map, scroll map, and attention map is seen. And that's pretty much same like what we discussed before. So that's A/B test for you. And split URL test is 99% similar to A/B test in terms of configuration. So one small thing that would change is about with A/B test, we tested based on element by element changes, whereas with split URL test, we test two different landing pages of same kind. Let's say you have home page A and home page B with a different layout and structure and color, brand guidelines, and so on. So you'd like to test which of the page is yielding more engagement for your business, and that would help your business to improve more with respect to revenue or sales, or whatever conversions that you could have. So instead of me going ahead and changing it manually without a particular test, that's not going to yield me any sort of conclusive results. So we prefer to go with split URL test over here. So I'm just going to enter the URL and go for adding additional URL. Yes, this needs to be built, and then you can go ahead and add a particular variation URL here. So actually the visitor will reach this original page, and upon the redirections that we're going to configure, let's say we are going to split it as 50% will be seeing the original and 50 will be redirected to the other page. And this is how the summary of configured one would look like. So the same URL and the new page URL will be there. And then we have the split that we have configured 50-50, and goals and other aspects of it, whatever we have configured. And the reports are pretty similar to the one that we saw in the A/B test itself. So that's split URL test for you. Then comes personalization. So with the personalization, you'll be able to create personalized content and a personalized touch for your visitors coming to the website. So you can select a particular target audience or segments where you can run a customized experiment, create different unique experiences for them that would let them connect themselves with the website and motivate them for further transactions and purchases with your website. So let me just quickly create one for you so that I'll be more clear in terms of my understanding and explanation to you. So here, I'm just going to create a particular page where I want to create experiences. So I'm creating one for now, and then I can go ahead and pick up a particular target audience, or I can create my custom audience as well. So let me just pick this one. So here in this case, if you see, we have again the editor window ready. You can just customize end to end that you would like to see. And once you customize all of that, this is how it's going to look like. So we have experiences for new visitors, direct visitors, audience targeting, and returning one. For the new visitors, since they are first time comers, so I'm just going to say get 20% discount on your first order. If they are direct visitors, since I'm assuming that they are not the first time users, I'm going to say welcome back to Zilker. And for other two, I have changed a few other things as well. So what happens here is that not only just with the context, you can change the image, you can change the banner completely, and you do whatever you want with respect to creating unique experiences. And this can be done over the location, the weather, and any other factors that could differentiate a particular group of audience. And you select a goal, summary of it, and the report. So with the report, you'll be able to see the overall improvement that it has gone, and then what is the revenue that is generated, what is reach of experiences and total visits. And here we have the conversions and the visitor count, followed by experience performances, which means compared to the original, how the very different personalized experiences are performing. That can be seen over here. Except returning visitors, other three different ones are performing really well. And then we have reach across different audience segments. So that's also seen over here. So that's pretty much available for you under personalization feature. And the last module is about the engage, where with the engage we got polls, push notification, and pop-up, and the sole purpose is to create engagement for your visitors on the website. So with the poll, of course, it's just to create uh, interaction with your visitors coming to your website and gather responses in terms of understanding their experience with the website in and out. So I'm just going to create one quick poll to see how it can be configured. So we have these options like long answer, short answers, checkboxes, NPS, rating, and so on. So you can also create more questions and have your logic jumps, like moving from one question to the other. You can also add response based questions as well. And then we have visuals, where we have positioning a particular poll, changing the background theme, moving it to light and dark, and then disable the branding if you'd like to of Zoho PageSense. Then the audience to whom you have to run, then the configuration, where which page you would like to target running this poll. So polls and pop-up are completely intrusive one no matter what, but from Zoho PageSense we have ensured to keep it less intrusive, because that shouldn't impact the current journey they have. So how do we keep it less intrusive is by triggering these polls and pop-up based on the visitor's engagement and action itself. So let's say these are preset triggers. We have on page entry, page exit, page scroll, time delay, and custom event. With the custom triggers, I'll be able to combine multiple other actions like number of sessions by the visitor, visitor inactivity time, new session begins, time spent on page entry, element click, session duration, pages visited, and so on. So using that, I'll be able to create a customized trigger. So they perform an action and we show a pop-up or a poll as a consequential action for that. And then we have response behavior. How often do you want to showcase this poll to the audience that is seen? And then a quick summary and launch it. So once this makes sense, you can take it live. And these are the reports or the responses that we could see. So we again get random names and we can map it with identifier API and get that name populated. And then we have all the information listed down, and analysis shows you how many have opted for which one and what is the total impressions and responses that we got out of visitors and visits that we have. So that's pretty much on polls. Since polls and pop-up complement each other, so I'm just going to show you pop-up before push notification. So pop-up, we have 4 different types. Let me show you what all we got. We have an ordinary pop-up. Followed to that, we have a slide in, and then we have a banner and a full screen. So all of these are different types of pop-up we got, and we have few templates for you to readily pick and use. And all of that you see over here is completely customizable, right from the image, the background, the color, the button color, input field, anything that you see here is completely customizable. And of course, you can add more screens and keep it more interactive with your visitors coming to your website. And then you pick up the audience, go for the configuration that we just discussed, whatever you wanted to have, and then go for summary and take it live. So once you take it live, this is how the responses would be captured for. So you see here we have visitors, visits, impressions, in total conversions, and conversion rate. And this is a graph trend, performance by field if there are any available. And these are the responses that we got from them. Now talking about push notification. So we know for a fact how to generate a particular subscriber notification and get your subscribers to the system. Once you have that, you'll be able to send push messages on 3 different conditions. One is about one time, and then we have recurring and triggered. So one time is configuring a message and sending it across to all your subscribers at one time. And then we have advanced option, where you'll be able to disable that or hide that notification if there is no activity on that for 5 seconds. And then you can schedule the push notifications. And then we have recurring, which is based on daily, weekly, and monthly basis by setting up a time, and triggered, which is all completely action based. So once you are ready, you can just go ahead and pick up a particular title, the description, and the notification URL. You can also see the UTM parameters over here. So you can track the visitors coming from this push notification using analytical platform or within the PageSense application, so that it will tell you whether the push notifications actually work to bring the traffic from offline to online website. And yeah, once that's set, you can go for the audience and then pick up a goal and take it live after viewing the summary. And the push notification inferences would be like this. So we have total sent, failed, delivered, queued, and then we have in queue, and then we have impressions, clicks, and conversions. We also have performance metrics and other metrics that we saw in the past as well. And then out of all the users or the subscribers, how many impressions every individual had made, and what is the push status of that. So that's all something that we can get out of this particular one. So I think that's pretty much that I would like to talk about Zoho PageSense as a product and how is it going to benefit your conversion or optimization process. And as I mentioned, this is going to be an iterative process. It's not just one time you implement and just park it aside. It's going to be completely dependent on how often we improve our conversion rate for our business, and that in turn is going to enhance your visitor experience as well as increase your revenue together. So that brings down to the end of the Zoho PageSense live demo. So quickly handing it over to Aarti for the next set of slides that she got for you. Over to you, Aarti.
Thank you, Ajit. Thank you for the live demo. And before we end this session, to extend our support to the Google Optimize users, our team has structured a 3-month free plan where you can track up to 5K visitors per month with access to personalization, web analytics, A/B testing, and split URL testing. We also have a dedicated team to help you with the product implementation and provide you with in-depth introduction to pages and its capabilities. We also offer exclusive onboarding sessions for migrating users, and along with helpful tips on what all you can do to accomplish your goals with PageSense to help you make the most of it. Moving on to the pricing plan. So it starts at $16 per month, and all our plans are designed to suit different business goals with unique plans available for every business size. We are also currently offering 40% discount globally on all our subscription plans. So yes, that's it from my end. Please feel free to ask any questions. Our support team is right with us online to answer them. So Marius has asked us a question. When PageSense will be fully integrated with Zoho CRM? If so, the data will be automatically sent to Zoho CRM pop-up when the pop-up is submitted. So you can now, with this integration, you can now view the goals of session recording reports through this integration. And that said, this is in our roadmap. We'll keep you posted once we get an update on this. Could you give a bit more information on the about the price? Which plan is best if we have around 10 clients? Ajit will be able to answer this question for you. Ajit?
Yes, Aarti. So basically, when you have 10 different clients to handle within Zoho PageSense, we'd recommend you to create multiple projects for your different clients that you manage. I assume they're going to be having different websites for sure. So you can create different projects and handle all of your clients individually, and you can assign or give access to those respective POCs from the particular client side, and then have your accounts managed. And of course, you can go for any of those plan out of 3, which is analyze, engage, or optimize, and start using PageSense for your clients that you got. And it's just not 10. You can go for 25 or 30 different clients. Everything can be managed under one account of PageSense by giving dedicated access for every individual POCs of different projects and clients. So that's doable. Yeah.
Thanks, Ajit.
Sure, Aarti.
So regarding Maris's question on whether the data will be automatically sent to Zoho CRM when a pop-up submitted, so we do have Zoho Flow integration. This could be a workaround for now to push the pop-ups and polls data to CRM. So yes, if you need more information regarding this, please get in touch with us. Eric has question 1. Can you give EAC project its own impressions, measurements? Ajit, could you please help me with this?
Sure. So Eric, I'm little just trying to understand here. So can you give me each project its own impressions, measurements? So yes, every individual project has its collective modules and features that you saw. It's just going to be different portal sort of arrangement that we have within PageSense, where every individual account can be managed independently, and every individual project has whatever the live webinar, live PageSense application that I just showcased. It will have all of that in every individual project that you choose. So yes, you will be able to have all your metrics present over there.
One more question from Marius. Could you please explain a bit more on the API integration to see the email on the recordings?
Sure, Murray. So we have separate help document. Maybe right after the session, I can share that particular document with you personally, and that will have every individual steps. So basically, what happens is a particular JavaScript that's available from Zoho PageSense end, and you'll be able to add that particular JavaScript to the your experiment page where you wanted to track all your visitors information like name or email address or contact number. And what happens is generally we track based on the cookie ID anonymously, and by using this identifier API, we'll be able to replace the cookie ID with the visitor's information, which is the email address or the contact number or any information that we'd like to map. So depending on the variable that we choose, we'll be able to replace the cookie ID with that particular information and map it to the session recordings, every individual session of a particular visitor. So that's how it works. Maybe, as I mentioned, I can drop an email personally and take this forward with you.
Okay, Eric wants mic access. I'm just going to grant him the access. Eric, I have given you the mic access in case you want to speak.
Hello?
Hello, Eric. Hi.
Hi, yes. What I wanted to ask, and I did not type it correctly, but doesn't matter. What I wanted to ask is like you have like different pricing packages, the analyzed package and the optimized package, for instance. So if you have like, for instance, the optimized package, you have like 10 projects underneath, and then you can choose how many monthly visitors you're going to track. Can we say, for instance, for website A, we want to track only 1,000 monthly visitors, and for website B, we want to track 2,000 monthly visitors? Or is it so that if you buy 10,000 monthly visitors and you have 10 projects, they can all go to the one project and the other project will have nothing?
Well, to answer this question, Eric, you're right. The latter option is going to be the possible working condition of Zoho PageSense at the moment. So when you go for 10,000 monthly unique visitors plan with optimize of 10 different projects, yes, you'll be able to create 10 different projects. And when you go for the 10,000, it's not something that you can set a limit for every individual project, saying project A should get 1,000 visitors and project B should get 2,000 and 3,000 for the next, and so on. So collectively, you'll be allotted with 10,000 unique visitors, and you'll be able to manage it across multiple projects that you create and handle. So it's going to be common across the projects.
And how can we have like a little bit of influence on there? Because we have like smaller websites and we have like bigger websites. So
well, that can be handled by understanding the traffic on an average that we get for all of your clients, Eric. So let's assume that you have 10 different clients, and on an average for a month, they get around 500,000, collectively. Like one could have 200,000 per month, another could have just 5,000 per month. So when we sum up all of that, let's say we have collectively, we have 500,000. You can either go for 500,000 or go for a little lower plan like 200 or 250, whatever that's available on the site. So once you choose that, you will be able to, of course, you integrate multiple different websites within individual projects. If the website's potential or the visitors is just 5,000, we cannot expect the visitors get exhausted more than 5,000 for that particular website. So that way you'll be able to handle, and many of our customers have brought this up, and we have given this particular solution, and they have happily worked, and they're currently using the multiple projects for different clients they work with. So it's been working for them as well.
Okay.
Yes, Eric.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And there was also like an implementation. You could also have like help with the implementation of something like this, yes?
Yes, of course, we'll be able to help you with the implementation too. So what we expect is just a requirement from your end in terms of what you're trying to achieve with PageSense. Maybe you can drop an email to support@zohopagesense.com. Has Sharad dropped a message? And once
Hmm.
you send that, we'll be able to check that, and a dedicated representative will reach out to you, and we'll be able to take the implementation forward for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Hello,
there
can
any?
you hear me now?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, it's Marius. I have a question regarding the link which you provided regarding the installation of the API code. I already read this, and it says in the point 3, replace the name tag in the above script with the corresponding variable that you want to associate with the session. This can be a unique value that is used to identify as a visitor based on their personal identification. I can understand that, but when I was trying to, I don't understand what do you mean by putting a variable in this way. That I thought that, for example, if I'm using a PageSense, a pop-up form, the variable of an email address, for example, would be already there since I'm using your system. So I'm not really following. So on my website, for example, I got all my forms created via either Zoho form or, in this case, would be a Zoho PageSense. So the system is already connected with yours. So I'm missing the link. I've been trying to do it, to put the code, and I was getting just like a name saying email in brackets, but not the physical email address. It was just the word email rather than physical email address. And it was exactly showing like on your presentation. There was no a live email address. It was just an email or name, whatever you put it there.
Okay, I understand your concern, Maurice. I think there is a gap in terms of the configuration that you'd have done. So I'd like to take this particular question offline and maybe support you with a remote sharing session with you. Maybe based on availability, we can get in touch and try to understand what's exactly going on. And I'm pretty sure that this is completely a solvable problem that you might have it temporarily. We'll get this sorted for you. I'll take this particular question offline and ensure you have been reached out with getting your time slots for the meeting. So we'll get this. Yeah.
Sound. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Small questions. Sorry, it's Mariusz again.
No
Small
problem.
questions regarding the. I've been playing around as well with the push notifications, and to install the push notification, you have to go through either two options: that the customer will confirm only once, or the customer will have to do like a twice confirmation.
That's right.
On all of the push notifications, everywhere there is like a Zoho Sense logo that is powered by yourself. Is there any way that we could remove that?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have that particular option at the moment, but we have considered this feedback, and the product team is going to work on it, and we'll be able to have a custom domain option where the PageSense brand can be completely, replaced.
To be honest, I don't have a problem, every now and then, put your logo on something, what you're doing for me in a way you provide as a service is what you're providing to us. But it says that my understanding of it was that I'm sending a push-up notification to the customer, but then someone will say, hold on, I'm dealing with company X, but then notification will be sent by company Y, which has nothing to do with you. So it's been sort of confused. And on the other side, I want to ask as well, to implement the single authorization, single approval, you also have to do a bit of a implementation of a small line of a code. So you have to put some kind in a file. So if I could get some kind of a support with this one as well, that would be absolutely, that would be great. If we can just combine it into the one sort of a session and try to solve those two problems, would be absolutely great for me.
Absolutely, I can definitely do that for you, Mary. So not a problem. Couple of things. One is about your identifier API integration with your experiments of session recording, and followed by this push notification configuration as well. So a couple of these things will be addressed to you offline by our support team, by getting in touch with you. So that will be taken care.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sure, anytime.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I have one. Zoho One. I'm on a subscription of Zoho One. how many projects I can create. It says that I can do 6 projects, but I'm just wondering, because I've seen that you can do something like up to 25 or something like that. So I'm just wondering, how does it work? Because I'm already using like 3 out of 6.
I'm quite unsure on what you're talking about, Murray. So you're saying you're into Zoho One application and you're active user. So you're asking about your total number of projects allotted for your account, and what do you see in your subscription tab? Like how many projects were allotted to you?
So if I go to my if I go to my account, now it takes me to the main Zoho account, where I'll be able to see it. Okay, sorry, project. I'm on the main website of Zoho PageSense. And then I can see name of the project, life experiment, 3 out of 6.
Okay, so by default you would get 25 projects for your Zoho One subscription, Maurice. So
25 projects with 6 experiments per project.
That just give me 1 minute.
Because now I've got 1 project and it says life experiments 3/6. So I'm guessing 3 is the live one out of 6. And what you said, 25 projects. We basically can have 25 times 6 experiments based on my subscription, I presume.
Okay, all right. So I think there are no restrictions for your number of experiments that you would create, Maurice. So that shouldn't be the case at all. If that's what you're facing, maybe we can assist you with that as well. Like, actually, it's pretty unclear in terms of how the visual looks like at your end. So maybe when we get on the screen sharing session, we'll look at this as well.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, but technically it should be 25 projects and you'll have unlimited access for the features and other aspects of it. So there shouldn't be any restriction.
Okay, I just thought that there might be some kind of limitations on it. Okay, no problem.
And quick thing, Murray. So I understand that you mentioned you saw 3/6. So that means experiments were
3
created.
live out of 6 in total. Now
if you create one more, then it's going to be 3/7.
I'm with you. Unless they are live, so I'm with you.
Just to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah, now I got it. I thought there would be some kind of a limitation that I can only do 6 experiments on the 1 project. But now I got it.
Got it.
All
right. So is there anything else that we can assist you with, Maurice, today?
No, I think I've explored my my 2 little things, which I would like to get a bit of a support from your team. I think that's it from my side, unless someone else has any questions.
Sounds good. Over to you, Aarti.
Okay. Thanks, Ajit. Thank you for answering all these questions. So, yes, this concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending, and we hope that you've learned and enjoyed this presentation. Thank you so much. And yes, please feel free to reach out to support@zohopagesense.com if you have any questions. And we're also very active on Zoho PageSense, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. You can DM us there as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.